How to Train Your Dragon is the latest movie to get the live-action remake treatment. And man, wow. This is a remake of the now classic, universally beloved How to Train Your Dragon, which was based on the children's book of the same name. That movie didn't just win people over, it became a defining animated film of the 2010s. Beautiful visuals, an emotional story, a killer John Powell score that still gives me chills.
That's that good shit.
It's a perfect example of how impactful animation can be when done right. So when I saw this live-action remake was coming out, I didn't know how to feel. Like, on one hand, the original is so good that remaking it should feel unnecessary. But on the other hand, maybe, just maybe, it could offer a fresh perspective. Maybe a new interpretation. Maybe there was a reason to retell the story in a different medium. Coming out of the theater, I just kind of sat there stunned. Not because it was so bad I couldn't believe it, and not because it was so good I was speechless. I just had one question. What are we doing here? Like, seriously, what are we doing? Now, to be clear, this isn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not even the worst live-action remake. Disney has that title locked down anyway. But is it good? Well, kind of. Maybe? Technically, sure, but spiritually, not really, no. It's not offensively bad, but it's so safe. This is a film that takes zero creative risks, and for the most part, it's a scene-for-scene remake. Almost the exact same story beats, same dialogue in a lot of places, same character arcs, except now it's 20 minutes longer and looks like a slightly cheaper version of something that already exists, that also cost a ton of money. And that right there is the biggest issue with this remake. It just doesn't justify its own existence. But before I get too deep into that, let's talk about the good, because there is some. Mason Thames as Hiccup is likable enough. He brings a slightly different energy to the role. Not better, just different. Gerard Butler returns as Stoic, which was actually a smart move. His line delivery was as good as it was in the original, and Nick Frost as Gobber is just so fun, he fits the part well. A few of the side characters were questionable. Like, there was definitely some cringy line deliveries in there, but it wasn't enough to tank the movie or anything. The CGI also surprised me. The dragons actually look good. Like, pretty good, actually. They stayed true to the original designs, and thankfully didn't try to overcomplicate them or hyper-realize them. And the environments look pretty great overall. Isla Burke looks great in live action. So yeah, visually, for the most part, they nailed it. But here's where things start to get a little bit messy. As good as the dragon designs look, there's a serious lack of interaction between them and every human character. Especially in the scenes with a lot of physical action, like the early on dragon attack on the village. There's no weight to anything. You see Vikings swinging weapons at dragons and it looks like they totally whiff it, but the dragons flinch like they got hit anyway. It just doesn't look super realistic. Not because the CGI is bad, but just because all the actors clearly weren't given anything physical to work with. Like, the impact just seriously isn't here and it's kind of distracting. And then there's the runtime. Somehow, despite being basically a shot-for-shot remake, this version is nearly 20 minutes longer than the original. Why? What's in those 20 minutes? Did we get some new subplots? Character development? World building? Not really. Most of that time is just spent on scenes that are just longer. They added dialogue here and there that doesn't really improve anything and often just repeats what we already know. It feels like the movie is worried that you're not paying attention, or maybe they're just planning on you being on your phone during it. And all of this just reinforces my biggest issue. There's no real reason for this movie to exist. It doesn't bring anything new to the table, it doesn't reimagine the characters, it doesn't explore new themes, it doesn't even try a new different tone or perspective. It just exists, it's fine, but it's also completely forgettable. And the thing is, How to Train Your Dragon is one of those rare movies that actually had the potential to be adapted well into live action, unlike Lilo and Stitch, which came out last month, which is so stylized and cartoony that translating it to live action strips it of its charm. How to Train Your Dragon is already grounded in a more cinematic, emotional style. There was potential here and maybe a reason for it to exist, but there was no room to take creative swings, but instead they just play it safe. Like, so safe. It's like going to a restaurant you love, ordering your favorite dish, and then they bring you a microwave version of it that tastes close, but not quite the same, and somehow it costs more. So yeah, I walked out of this movie asking the same thing I've been asking myself about a lot of these remakes. What are we doing here? Why are we spending millions of dollars to make inferior versions of movies that are already great? What is the creative justification? What is the artistic value? Who is this for? Because if it's for fans of the original, we already have that movie, and it still holds up. If it's for new audiences, why not just show them the better version? Oh yeah, it's money. In the end, this remake isn't awful. It's not offensive. It's not some train wreck you'll laugh about later. It's just nothing. A longer, worse-looking version of a movie that you probably already love. And maybe that's what people want from this, is just a different-looking version of the movie they already like. But for me personally, I just really do not see the value in that. And at its core, the story is still the same. The story is still good. But this is something I will definitely never be revisiting again. And for that, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Not terrible, not good, just kind of there. Would have been better if it was animated. Ha! Anyway, go watch the original How to Train Your Dragon. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and maybe subscribe again. I don't know. Just go watch the real one. This thing's gonna make $1 billion anyway, isn't it?